This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Interviewing musicians, comedians, sports personalities, and many, many other individuals all over the world, sharing their story of encouragement, inspiration, what they've been through, what they've gone through, as well as amazing musicians from all over the world. Kick back and relax. For some amazing people you probably have never heard of and their story. Each of us have a story of hope, of courageousness, of inspiration. This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one-on-one podcast. It's always about encouraging others. Throughout this podcast, I'll be sharing with you some promotions for local businesses here in Kitsap County. Thanking them for their amazing support. They're awesome businesses and great food, and they're amazing people. Lone Star Donuts, Tequila and Tequila Street, Double D's Barbecue and Smokery, Mr. Alex Pablo. Thank you. I'd like to welcome one of the newest sponsors to the podcast, Mr. Alex Pablo. He specializes in assisting small to medium-sized local family restaurants establishments in enhancing their brand, identify, and cultivate a strong business image. He provides a comprehensive support through the creation and maintenance of professional business website, menu design, printing services, as well as implementing an effective online ordering system. His objective is to empower these businesses to flourish and achieve sustained success and increased online sales in their respective markets. Check out aldentedigitals.com for more information. Hello there, and welcome back to Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Before we get into the show, I just want to personally thank you all for several things, actually, for subscribing and following to this very unique podcast format where we have interviews and songs from people from all walks of life, from all over the world. Real stories from real people about their career paths and sharing encouragement to you. Also, thank you for the many people who are following this podcast, because we're in 20 countries and been heard in 41 states. It's been insane. So thank you so much for being part of the Chit Chat encouraging one-on-one podcast. On today's show, we got great music as always. We have music by my good friend Benjiphonik with his brand new song, Dance Gravy. And this song, he has some special guests with him in his song, Jessica Lynn Whitty, Raymond Hayden, and Chris Jones. I'm excited to share it with you. Also, my friends from the Meghanne Storey Project share their brand new song called Patience. I'm very excited for you to hear it. And the musician I'm sharing interview with today is a very gifted musician as well. And from her album Songbird, I show a song called Filthy Water. My guest today started writing songs at 4 years old, and her passion for songwriting only comes second to her love for her Lord Jesus Christ. And as a teenager, she led worship in a church until she felt a calling, to sing more and more country songs. And so in 2020, her hit single I Break Things was released. And it's been nominated for award after award after award. And this year, at the International Singer-Songwriter Association, she's been awarded for nominated for like 7 or 8 awards, including Female of the Year, Rising Star of the Year, and Album of the Year, as well as several others. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chit and Chat Encouraging One-on-One podcast, Jennifer Miller Alvarado. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, how are you?
Good, yourself? Doing all right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining the Chit and Chat Encouraging One-on-One podcast today. I'm talking with Jennifer Miller Alvarado. I'm excited to pick your brain a little bit, kind of who you are. And before we dive into some fun conversations, I like to pick the guest of my brain, the brains of my guests. I get tongue-tied with some icebreaker questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm sure you dream big. So if you dream big and can share the stage with three musicians, past or present, any genre, Christian, country, you name it, what three artists would you like to be on stage and sing with?
Reba McEntire's number one. Let's see. Probably Tom Petty.
Oh, okay.
Be a good one. And he's probably my number two. And I'm somewhere between Patsy Cline and Whitney Houston.
Let's get them both. It's your concert.
Okay.
That'd be a great concert. I'd go to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would.
Question two: what are you something you're really really good at, and something you're kind of not so good at?
Okay, something I'm really good at is organization.
Okay.
I was a paralegal, and I also was I'm still a worship director, but I led a bunch of worship ensembles and had to keep track of bands and people and all that. So I'm very good at organizing people and scheduling people.
Okay.
Something I'm not good at, probably honestly promoting myself and putting myself out there.
Okay.
I have a lot of, I wouldn't say fear, but I never want to make it about me, and I never I don't like that. It feels sleazy in a way, and I know that that's like what you have to do, but that's the one part I struggle with all this.
Well, this podcast is always available to share your music. I love sharing musicians' songs, especially independent artists, to get their word out. So you're always welcome. I'd love to share your music on this podcast. So,
well, thank you.
I'm always here for it. What are the three top most beautiful places you've ever visited? And where were they? And is it a bucket list of places you want to go to?
Let's see. It's probably easier to start with the bucket list. I definitely want to go to Fiji at some point. It looks beautiful, and Greece looks beautiful. Prague, I want to go for the architecture. Um, Probably Italy, like the vineyards and all that. Some of the most beautiful places I've been to. Out west, like Nevada, even though like it's like ghost towns and stuff like that. It's just I love the history of it, and I love the mountains that you see and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Going down the Pacific Coast Highway, especially around, is it Big Sur? That was gorgeous. And so that was very exciting to see. And then honestly, just there's places around where we live, like that certain times of the day when the sun is setting and all that, and the sky goes into like its different pink hues and all that. Like those are like, to me, that's some of the most beautiful stuff you can see.
Awesome. What's your favorite childhood movie?
Goodness. It is actually a tie. Can I have a tie?
You may.
Okay. It's All Dogs Go to Heaven and The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. All right. Yep. I'm still big on Aladdin. I love Robin Williams. Every time I see a genie, I think of him. And Mrs. Doubtfire. I dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire for Halloween years and years ago. So I love Mrs. Doubtfire too. All right. Next is going to be quick fire questions. So the first one that comes to your mind, I have about 6 or 7 of them. Fast food or healthy food?
Oh, fast food.
Success or happiness?
Happiness.
Fruits or vegetables?
Fruits.
Burgers or tacos?
Tacos.
Oceans or waterfalls?
Waterfalls.
Ice cream or popcorn?
Popcorn.
Comedy or drama?
Drama.
And last one, French fries or onion rings?
Oh, French fries. Yeah.
That wasn't too bad, was it?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, would you mind sharing a little brief bio on who Jennifer is? Where you're from?
Sure. So I grew up in Hickory, North Carolina, and I now am based in Vail, which is about 30 minutes outside of Hickory. I have been a singer-songwriter. Well, I started writing when I was about 4, and then got involved with church and my elementary school, like different productions and choirs and stuff like that. Started leading worship as a teenager. Thought that I was going to do worship music. And actually, after I left, I guess, paralegal land, I became a worship leader and a worship director full time. Released my first contemporary Christian CD in 2015. And then around 2018, 2019, some things started changing in my life. And really, God just started kind of moving me in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when 2020 hit, stuck at home, and I started releasing some of the country stuff. And for the past 2 years, that's really what I have been pursuing, is the country pop stuff in my songwriting. So yeah, that's everything kind of in a nutshell.
Perfect. What got you into music? At 4 years old, I mean, most kids are out playing toys. Here you're writing songs and singing songs. What inspired you to be into music?
Honestly, like I think I just gravitated toward it even before I was able to like sing words. There's journals that my grandmother, because my grandmother kept me a lot, and she would keep journals about me and just what I was doing and stuff like that. And even before I was talking, I was singing. And so I think that it was just music was always around, and it was something that I just gravitated toward. And then, I was an only child growing up. I was introverted and very shy. And so I think for me, songwriting was my way of, and even writing short stories, those were my ways of sort of expressing everything that was inside, and that I was maybe scared or just felt nervous about saying. And so that was my, I guess, way of expressing myself and kind of working through anxiety and things like that.
And this venue now gives you the opportunity to get it out for people who maybe are a little timid, a little shy, and making a song that kind of fits that area where someone's struggling. It may help them.
Yeah, I mean, that's my hope. That's my biggest hope with my music, is that because I had that growing up, and just being the shy kid, the one that things would happen at school and you go home and you don't really have anybody to talk to about it. And so you go and you write a song about it. And I would sit in my room for hours and listen to other people's music and their words. And that was my connection. That was, I found friends, I found solace in other people's words. And so that's very much what music has always been for me, and what I hope to be able to give back to the world with it.
Do you agree on the premise that music and songs are a therapy for people that helps them, kind of calm, relax? I love like music by Hollow Coves, folky stuff. I love this kind of just relaxes me, and when I'm in a stressful moment in my life.
Definitely. Yeah, most definitely. I think music picks up where like maybe we don't have words yet or something like that. And so even when there's not necessarily words with the music, sometimes it's just like the way the notes are formed, or the way it sounds or whatever, like it allows you to kind of process things a different way.
Would you mind sharing about why it's important to you that I saw a quote that says that you said, I hope you said it, I want to help people through music. I hope anyone who is struggling or feels that way need a friend. Music helps them find that.
Yes. Because I think more than anything, humans want to know that they matter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that there's so many people in society these days that just they feel hopeless. They feel like they don't know where they belong, that nobody understands them. And I think that's the power of music, is the fact that even if somebody else's story doesn't match up with mine, um, overall, the human emotion, like, we have the same emotions, we have the same needs and the same feelings. And I think sometimes we just need reminding of that, especially when you're going through something and you feel like you're all alone and the only one going through it. Like, the best thing that can happen is that you find somebody else that has been through it and gotten through it. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're able to speak life into you and be that encouragement that says, just keep going. And you believe them because they've been in a similar spot and they've made it through.
Right. Um, I love that. I was reading about you as well, and a lot of folks have their passion. Their number one passion is this. It's writing songs or singing songs or skydiving or whatever. Your singing is passion number two. Your number one passion is for the love of the Lord.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
been in church your entire life?
Off and on. So my parents really they were members of a church, but we didn't go. So I would go with my grandparents most of the time if I actually went. So church was never like a regular every Sunday kind of thing. It was when I got older and when I was able to sort of make that choice to go. But yeah, growing up, I believed in God. We would pray every night, all those kind of things. And so I was a believer, but I wasn't necessarily church on Sunday every week. And I think for me, I struggled with that because so much of my family was very church involved. And, and they were, deacons and whatever else of the church. And so I always kind of felt like, okay, maybe there's something off with me or something because I'm not there every week. I don't know. But what I realized is there's a huge difference between going to church every Sunday and knowing the name of Jesus and actually having a relationship with him. And so for me, I'm glad. I wouldn't say glad. But I do feel like it was good preparation for me to learn the difference between having a relationship and just going through the motions of it. And not that I think that people that are going every week is going through the motions, but there's a huge difference that happens when you're going because you want to go, and you're going because you have that relationship versus it's just a check on the list of things to do.
And you've been leading worship for a while.
Yeah.
My wife led worship for a while, and
Okay.
often said that leading worship is like a small sermon. The worship songs are usually prayers out of the Bible and very powerful scripture. And I believe not only in worship songs you get a little mini sermon, if you will, you also get the pastor's sermon. So I believe it's a great thing when you're leading worship. You're getting people to sing and have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was my first. That's what I knew. That's what I knew as far as being able to present a song to people and all of that. And it really did teach me a lot. It taught me as far as, first off, it taught me that it's not about me. And I think that that's something that you have to remember in this, like, because especially in this industry, you get into the frame of mind that, oh, you've got to be perfect and you've got to do this and all eyes need to be on you and whatever. And I never have really approached it that way. And I think that's probably why I have an issue with the whole, like, trying to promote myself and everything. And honestly, that's why I never pushed my Christian album and stuff like that, because I didn't want people to think that I was trying to use the platform for myself.
Right.
I never wanted to skew those lines. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the most important things when you're looking at worship songs is there was a lot of worship songs that I would not lead because I did not necessarily believe them to be true for me at that point in time. And until I was able to actually believe them and talk through them with God and get on the same page, I wouldn't lead them, because I don't feel like as a worship leader, you can take people to a place you've never been. And so I think that it's very important to have that relationship, because people can smell a fraud a mile away. They can see it. They can see when it's more about you, when it's about the performance, when it's not a genuine love for God and just wanting to be there to give him praise.
Well, God's given you a tremendous gift in music and singing, and when you're writing songs, what are the beginning stages of writing a song? What do you normally start? Is it a verse or a rhythm or just kind of something that kind of comes to mind? You just jot on paper and kind of piece that together.
A lot of times it's lyrics. The lyrics come more naturally to me. I love words. And so I think for me it comes from the lyrics. It may come from like a little riff or something with either the title of the song or just something that I can't get out of my head, and then I build around it based on that. There's been a few times where I have all of the music sort of in my head and then I add the lyrics into it. But for the most part, it comes from just having a little phrase or something that keeps coming up, and I want to build around it.
Okay. Who are some people who has encouraged you, perhaps inspired you early in your career and still today to kind of keep on doing what you're doing and sharing your gift in music?
Oh goodness, there's honestly there's so many people, and I think when you I try to surround myself with people that tell me the truth, even
Mm-hmm.
when it hurts. Um, and the last thing I want is a bunch of people that just kind of blow smoke. And so there's a lot of people that have told me like, "Hey, we love you, and you can do this, but you might want to change something here." And honestly, a lot of people just I don't even think they know that they speak life into me at times. Like there's been people that have come up to me at shows and said, for example, I did a release party last week and I ended like the last song, I ended up singing a worship song, which probably is kind of odd in a bar, but hey, whatever, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
whatever.
but somebody came up to me and said, "Never apologize for being you," and it's people like that, the one-offs, the ones that, I mean, and I will say, like my grandmother, both my grandmothers always spoke a lot of life into me, and also, they both had very hard lives. And so to see how strong they were and to have that as examples growing up, that I can think back to and just know that they're still looking down on me. And and honestly, just as weird as it sounds, like I have journals from my grandmother that were filled with her prayers for me. And so
That's powerful.
to know that this woman spent so much time and so many years praying for me, like I know that I'm still covered in it from her. And so those are really, when I'm really down on myself and stuff, like I remember how powerful they were, um and to keep going. But yeah, a lot of times it's the one-offs, it's the people that God just brings into your life, maybe for even a moment, that just says something to you that's like, it's that little bit of encouragement that keeps you going through the day, um, or reminds you that what you're doing matters, because that's a huge thing for me, is that I never want to feel like I'm just filling up space.
Mm-hmm.
And I always want to feel like I'm leaving this place a little better than when I got here.
Right. That gave me a good idea for your song called "Whatever." Just what a song is. You're just like whatever. That's a great little line. You're welcome right there. Anytime. I'm here for you.
I'll add you as a co-writer. Yes.
Throughout your career, has there been someone who's your biggest inspiration in the music genre? Kind of someone you would like listening to as a youngster and still listen to today?
Oh, Reba McEntire. Like I don't even have to think about it. Um, yeah, Reba. Like I started going to Reba's concerts when I was 9 or 10, and I would study everything that woman did. Like I would study how she spoke to the crowd, how she would, sing songs, and just that was one thing that I always found with her. She's very real and relatable, and that's what I want. Like that's what I always want to be for somebody, is that they feel like they're coming to a show with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Have you met Reba?
so I haven't.
No?
Yeah, I've never met her. I want to,
One
but
day,
I never have.
when you wish upon a star, wishes come
I
true.
know.
Do you have a bucket list of things you'd like to accomplish as a musician, or is it just you take it as it comes to you?
The weird thing is, I've always had a 20-year plan, with everything I've ever done. And music over the past couple years, I have really tried. Now, let me say this. Yes, I do have a bucket list of places that I want to play.
Okay.
Like the Ryman is one, the Bluebird Cafe is one. I would really love to be, I would love to do a headlining tour at some point in my career, but beyond that, like I would love to just open up for some people, like some of my idols and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like big goals or whatever, it was such a huge thing for me to just decide to go into this full time and believe enough in myself and my music to pursue this. Um, that everything else I've been kind of just taking as it comes.
Gotcha.
Because I'm that person that, like, I will set a goal and I'll reach the goal, but I don't enjoy the process
Mm.
and the journey. And
Yeah.
so I'm very much trying at this point in my life, and over the past couple years, to enjoy the journey and to take each moment as it is, so that I'm not getting to the end of each goal and just being like, okay, next one, and never celebrating, never enjoying anything, because life's too short. And I think that's what I've realized over time, is life's too short, and you've got to enjoy those moments.
Yeah.
Because there's beauty in those moments, but not if you're constantly looking, 5 years down the road.
And I'm sure every musician defines success a little differently. How would you
Oh
define
yeah.
success in the music industry?
Honestly, that I'm able to create something that I'm proud of, and that is true to me, and hopefully help people in the process.
And there are some folks out there who think musicians have it made. They just play songs, different venues. There's a lot more that goes into that. For being, it's about your writing and being on the road and the countless amount of hours and how do you find time to relax during all that time between road trips and concerts and whatnot?
I'm trying to. I am not good at relaxing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not good at relaxing. Like I said, I've had a 20-year plan since I was 6 years old. Um, so I, I I think until you are a musician, you have no idea what all goes into it, because it's not just, oh, you go get up on this stage and you sing a couple songs and then you're done. Um, yeah, there's the marketing side of it. There's the PR stuff that happens. There's the booking, and I do pretty much everything on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have had some people help me in the past, and then honestly, I'm a perfectionist, and I ended up taking it on anyway. So I was like, I'm just going to keep doing it. But there's a lot of things that when you don't have a team, there's a lot of things that you don't realize, like behind the scenes stuff. And honestly, my favorite thing is the sharing and the creating part.
Mm-hmm.
But you have all this other stuff that has to be done so that you can do that. And sometimes you get resentful of all the other stuff that has to be done.
Do I
Just
have to?
from,
Do I have to?
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, for example, I I put out my second part of my Songbird EP, today. It released today,
Okay.
and this is the first project that I really have not. There wasn't this big push. There wasn't, like, I was just sort of like, I'm done here. Like, and hope you enjoy this. And I realized, like, I've got to do some back end work now of like, hey, this is out. Somebody listen to it, please. Anybody. Um,
Well, on this podcast, I'm actually playing your part one of this your song, so we'll get the song out for people to listen to.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, so I mean, there's that part of me that just, this time, like, I was like, I would much rather be releasing music and letting people listen to it. but there's not just that. Like, there's the whole process of getting it ready and promoting it and making sure it's seen and stuff like that. And that is, like I said before, that is not the part I like. I like the creation and the sharing part.
At work, every year we have to do evaluation and kind of run it by yourself. I hate it. I mean, I come in, do my job, I go home. I don't know what the intricacies of my what I do. I'm with you.
Right. Yep.
You're part of the ISSA, the International Singers Songwriters Association, and I've had a chance to interview several musicians from that. And you've been nominated for about 8 awards this year. It's insane. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's it like being nominated, first of all?
I think that, I mean, for me, it's always an honor, and it's always at least maybe a little bit of like okay, maybe I'm doing something right. Maybe I'm on the right path.
You're doing something right.
Like, somebody sees something, I don't know. So for me, it's just kind of that validation of like, okay, keep going. That's really what it means to me is, okay, keep going. Like, you're still not there, but keep going. And I don't know that I'll ever be there. I don't even know where there is, but still, that's honestly what it means to me. And honestly, I think because it's, the first part of it is voted on by your fans and people that support you. And for me, that was a huge revelation of just like the support I do have, because I think sometimes as a musician, especially when you're back and forth on the road and stuff like that, like, you can get really lonely. And I don't know if other musicians ever talk about this, but like sometimes, like, it can be lonely. It can be a lonely thing of just sort of like being in your own world and trying to figure out, trying to chase down this dream. And so I think to realize the support that you do have um, around you, and then the support that you do have from other artists and the organization as a whole, that was a huge revelation to me of just, you know what, like, people do have my back. I need to kind of, I guess, enjoy this a little bit more.
And secondly, what's it like when you win awards? I mean, first of all, get nominated. Like this year, you're nominated for Entertainer of the Year, Female Artist of the Year, Emerging Star of the Year, and several others. What's it like when you take some fancy hardware home and put on your mantle going, that's pretty awesome?
I'm always humbled by it, honestly. Like, it's just a very humbling thought, because again, I have wanted to sing and do this since I was old enough to know what it meant to be a singer. So, 4 or 5 years old. Um, and I think a lot of times as you grow up, you kind of get into this like practical side of things, and you have to be a realistic person and all of that. And I did that for years of being the, straight A responsible one of my friends. And so for me, it's kind of giving credit back to that little girl who was very much like, I'm going to be the next Reba, or whatever it is. And so to me, it's just very humbling, whenever I get an honor of any kind, because it just helps me to remember like that girl and the dreams that I did have, and that I still do have. But for a long time I was just afraid, and was in that midst of people pleasing so much that I was afraid to move forward.
I've had this conversation with some musicians before about dreams getting bullied so many times. When you're young, you're people, oh, you can't sing, oh, you can't podcast, oh, you can't write, and people just quit.
Oh yeah.
And those who just keep going amidst the pushback from negative Nelly, whoever, and just keep going. I think that shows your determination for sure.
And I think that that's so much of what this is. It's perseverance. It's continuing to keep going no matter how many doors slam in your face, or honestly how many bad reviews you have. I mean, I honestly, I had a whole group of people at church that could not stand me and would tell me, oh, well, you don't sing that as well as such and such over here. And it was not a good situation
Mm.
whatsoever. And so for so long, all I wanted to do was fit into that bubble. And one day I just realized, like, no, you're not meant to necessarily fit here. And that's okay. And so that's one thing that I would just encourage anybody who, if you have a dream like in your heart, um, and I realize that maybe sometimes like people are tone deaf, like, I mean, there might be extenuating circumstances, but I
True.
will say that
Yes.
if you were determined, if you were absolutely determined, then I do feel like there's a place, and I feel like that there's lessons you can take. There's, improvements you can make, whatever the situation is. Like if you have a dream on your heart, I do believe God put that there. And that he will open a door, but you've got to trust him enough to walk through it.
Amen. You've done a lot of concerts and shows and met a lot of fans, young and old. What's it like with a little fellow, a little gal comes up to you, asks for your autograph, and you got to go, I'm signing pictures for people these days. That's incredible, right?
It's weird. It's, but I also think back to, so I think I was maybe 7. And I went to a, casino with my parents. Like we were staying at a casino out in Nevada, and there was this lady in the casino bar of all places that was singing, and I couldn't go in to watch her, so I had to sit on the railing of the casino bar, so that I was still technically not in there. And I remember her coming up to me, and again, like 7 years old, and she was like, do you want to do this one day? And I was like, yes, like I'm gonna go sing in a casino bar. Yes. um I kind of wanted more than that, but hey. But I remember that she was so sweet and nice to me. And so that's honestly what I go back to when kids come up to me and stuff like that. And I can tell that they want to be singing, they want to have the microphone. Um, I love it because it just reminds me. It reminds me of myself when I was 7 years old and that dream that I had.
I went to your social media and I came across Psalms 37:4 a few times. What's
Uh-huh.
that mean to you?
It has changed over the years. So Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart."
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it has changed over the years because I think as a child, you think that verse means He's like a genie. He's like a magical genie. You just go to Him and be like, "Hey, God, I want this, this, and this. Thanks." And
Not quite.
that.
Not quite how it works.
Exactly. So over time, I have grown up, and I came to realize that really what that means is when you are aligning yourself with God's plan for you, um, your desires change so that they are more connected to the path that He has for you. And when all that is connected and working together, yeah, he will grant you the desires of your heart, because it's things that are going to help glorify him and help be on that path and that plan that he has set forth.
I've used 1 Thessalonians 5:11 throughout this podcast, encourage one another and lift each other up. And I believe sharing encouragement, sharing life, sharing stories can be powerful and help others through hard times or difficult times, or just in general, just keep moving forward.
Exactly.
Would you mind to share how folks can follow you and hear more about your music?
Sure. The first thing I would say is go to my website, jenniferalvarado.com. There's connections to all the different social media outlets on there. And also I have a blog on there that I recently have actually started writing again. So it won't
Like
take me 2
your,
years to write another article.
like
Um,
a journal for you, or what's that kind of help you throughout just kind of where you're at, what you're doing?
So it's actually called In the Waiting. I started it when I was in just kind of a very rough place with coming out of music ministry, and before I actually really started releasing the country stuff. And it was designed to be sort of like a community for encouragement. And so I started writing different scripture related blog articles that I would always end with a prayer of just trying to encourage other people and say, maybe you're in this desert period, maybe you're in this valley. It's not going to last forever, and so it really, for me, it was everything I sort of needed, those conversations with God. And I thought, if anybody else can relate, here it is. And so for a while, I got very, very busy and sort of didn't keep it up. So just recently I started writing again for that. And so that's still what I want it to be, is just an area of encouragement, that if anybody's going through that period of like, God, what is this? Like, where am I? That hopefully they can kind of get support through that.
I think everyone's kind of gone through that, as we begin to wrap up. And I think you shared some words of encouragement already. Any more words of encouragement, or just kind of things you might have learned along the way that you like? Yeah, I should probably pass that on to somebody else who, when I struggled, I used this verse, or I did this, or this and that song.
As cliche as it sounds, keep going.
Hey, that's hashtag keep going. We'll keep it going.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been an honor to have you on today, and I wish you nothing but success. But before I forget, today's July 24th, and it's won't come out for a few weeks, but happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you, but I might break the internet. We both get in trouble. I don't know. I'll make it trademarked. Who knows? But it's such an inspiration talking to you and hearing your amazing story and your very special gift to music. And you're always welcome to pass on songs. I will love to share about you. And thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Bye.
This is Jennifer Miller Alvarado, Filthy Water.
One night becomes three every time you talk to me. Light a match and watch it burn. Soon the table's gonna turn. You think you're the man, talking with your dirty hands. But come home, make it right. The things you took away in spite. Ooh, don't you know? Ooh, the truth is gonna show. One day soon they're gonna see
you craving donuts? I got a place for you to check out the most delicious donuts around. Come on down and check out my friends at Lone Star Donuts. They're a locally owned and operated business here in Kitsap County, and now they open their third location. They already had locations in Silverdale, Washington, Port Orchard, Washington, and now in Poulsbo, Washington, with over 50 kinds of donuts. I kid you not, 50 kinds of donuts. Many are filled, many are maple with bacon, real bacon, not that fake bacon. And now they have clutches. I had no idea what these were, but they're like a yeasty pastry with kielbasa in them, and they were so good. Check them out on Facebook, Lone Star Donuts. Their 3 locations are in Silverdale at 1087 Maury Place. Our number is 360-204-5021. In Port Orchard at 2649 Mile Hill Drive. Our number there is 360-443-2600. And now in Poulsbo at 21505 Marketplace, Suite 102. We all know you cannot buy happiness, but you can buy donuts. That's basically the same thing, right? Stop by and check out my friends at Lone Star Donuts. You can find them on Facebook as well. Lone Star Donuts, the best tasting donuts around. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dance Gravy by Benjiphonik and his friends Chris Jones, Raymond Hayden, and Jessica Lynn Whitty. Just came out moments ago. Crank it up. Here we go with some Dance Gravy.
Funkin', bumping, girls are jumping. The dance floor is up and coming. Take this groove down nice and low. Just kidding, now here we go. Let me get a little bit of drums. Now hear the bass comes. You know, I'm gonna tell you what. If you get up and shake your butt, we can turn that dial up. Start to bend. Start to spin. In your own space. Drag the bass. Let the fun begin. Back it up, back it up. You'll find the ending. Dancing's not a sin. No, it ain't no sin. Back it up, back it up. Back it on up. You'll find it coming. Coming dancing again. We in the crowd and we looking to win. Come on. That's right, come on. Hey, hey, hey.
Listen up.
Coming at ya. Omega, Supersonic, introducing the one and only Mr. Benjiphonik.
That's me. It's been a while since I've been in the club. Got my hot pants on and I'm looking for love. Getting down with a bump and grind. Now I'm plotting dance moves like a mastermind. That's me. Dance gravy, yo crazy. Wanna get funky with me?
Yeah, maybe.
We underground with the big whoop whoop. Time to get up and shake that butt.
Turn that dial up. Start to bend. Start to spin. In your own space. Drag the bass. Let the fun begin.
Let the fun begin.
Back it up, back it up. You'll find the ending. Dancing's not a sin.
No,
When I say barbecue, does your mouth just start to water? Barbecue. Well, I got the place for you to go check out, right? Double D's, Barbecue and Smokery. They got the best tasting ribs, dry rub ribs, and the meat just literally fell off the bone the last plate I had. Delicious. Also, they have pulled brisket, pulled pork, sides like bacon, macaroni, and cheese, coleslaw, beans, and cream corn with green chilies. Little kick. Delicious. And the dessert, banana pudding. That's right, banana pudding. Where can you find that at, right? See, Brett and Dawn, the owners of Double D's, are both strong military veterans. They have found a home here in the Pacific Northwest, and their roots range from Texas to North Carolina and everywhere in between. They bring their amazing flavors to their ribs and their food truck, which is a catering business as well. You can reach them at 360-960-9093. They're on Facebook, Instagram. That's right, Double D's, Barbecue and Smokery. Delicious tasting ribs and barbecue. You got it. Check them out. Are you craving some authentic, fresh Mexican food? I am. I want to tell you about two businesses here in Alvarado, Washington. They're both locally owned and operated. They got some of the best tasting Mexican food around. The first one is Tequila Street. They're a local food truck located at 9571 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, Washington. They got some best tasting breakfast burritos you'll ever find, including the Breakfast Tex Burrito, the Breakfast California Burrito, the Breakfast Ultimate Burrito, and my favorite, the Barbecue Pork Burrito. Delicious. They also add items like tacos, burritos, and other great tasting items. Call and place your order today. Go out and pick it up at 360-914-9152. That's at Tequila Street. Also, at the Chit Chat Mall, Tequila. They have 5 kinds of tacos there. That's right, 5, including burritos, taquitos, taco salads, and my favorite, grilled jalapenos. Yummy. And many, many more delicious items. Also, on Taco Tuesdays, tacos are 50% off. That's right, 50% off. Where can you find that deal, right? Call and place your order today at 360-698-4335 or head over to the website at tequizatacoshop.com and get some more great tasting, authentic Mexican food at Tequiza, located at the Chit Chat Mall. Their number again is 360-698-4335. This is the Meghanne Storey Project in our brand new song, Patience.
My emotions get in my way sometimes, falling from my lips like a waterfall in springtime. Words that I never meant to say to you always seem to force their way through this hole in my face. So I hope that you can have patience with me tonight. I hope the moon hangs low in the sky, just like it did that first time that you know. I know that I can be so hard sometimes. Life gets the best of me at the worst times. My sadness clings to everything I touch. Maybe it's a little bit too much for you. So I hope that you can have patience with me tonight. These are the moments I feel so lonely, but I know that I am not the
scattered words they can't reverse. Yeah, you know me. So I hope that you can have patience with me tonight. I hope the moon hangs so low in the sky, just like it did that first time that we, you know, yeah, you do. My emotions get in my way sometimes, stuck inside my mouth like they're frozen in time. Words that I always meant to say to you never seem to find their way into the light of day. So I hope that you can have patience with me tonight.
Great song. That was Meghanne Storey Project, her song called Patience. Thank you so much for joining the Chit Chat Encouraging One podcast today. My guest was Jennifer Alvarado. I had a great time. She's a great singer-songwriter and definitely going places. So check her music out at jenniferalvarado.com. Thank you also to Benjiphonik. His brand new song. His website is Benjiphonik, Benjiphonik.com. And the Meghanne Storey Project. Her website is tmspmusic.com. If you haven't already subscribed and are following this podcast, please do so. It's on Spotify, Anchor, and iHeartRadio. This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. What's always about, you got it, encouraging others.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. What it's all about, encouraging others.